Hi there, Andrew Lessman here with the second of our monthly specials for the month of July, where we're doing something a little bit different. I just recorded a brief video on omega-3s, and now I'm going to be recording a brief video on Ultimate Eye. Normally, and every year for probably the last 15 years, our maximum essential omega-3 and our Ultimate Eye support have been the Today Specials in April. That will continue. But I've heard the communications, I won't say complaints, that we make them go away in July, which when you consider the relationship that omega-3s and Ultimate Eye, and I'll talk about why, have with the products we focus on in July, which is healthy hair, skin, and nails, and marine collagen peptides, obviously products for our skin, products for our joints, and products for beauty, that it would only be common sense that I emphasize these products as well. The letters I often received complained about the fact, or emails recently, that just because they were Today Special in April doesn't mean that everyone got the Today Special. So because everybody likely didn't get the Today Special, we're not going to do a second Today Special. We just do that once a year, but we'll make it a monthly special for July. And it's a perfect monthly special to go along with the healthy hair, skin, and nails, and to go along with the marine collagen peptides, also to go along with our brief June Today special of phytoceramides. Phytoceramides are the internal moisturizing system for our skin. So it's a way to moisturize your skin the common sense way. So that's our Today special for a brief visit in the middle of June. But talking about Ultimate Eye support, it might be easier to understand omega-3s and their relationship to our skin in terms of moisturizing our skin, in terms of the luster and radiance of our skin and of our nail, and the shininess and luster of our nails. Certainly hair, skin, and nails, we understand the role of omega-3s, these wonderful golden fatty acids that deliver those wonderful health benefits in terms of the appearance of our hair, skin, and nails. Also, in terms of our joints, in terms of lubricating properties to our joints, again, omega-3s play an essential role. But how does Ultimate Eye possibly have a connection to beauty products? And most people would be scratching their head and saying, well, the last Today Special you talked about Ultimate Eye and the fact that lutein and zeaxanthin have absolutely extreme concentrations in the macular region, the retina of our eye. They are by definition, the optical pigments. The macular region of the retina of our eye, the macula lutea, looks the way it does because of their concentration of lutein and zeaxanthin. So they are defining, just like we look at our red blood cells, they're red because of the presence of iron. The macula lutea is this yellow spot because of the presence of lutein and zeaxanthin. It is the chemical characteristics of those ingredients that defines the macula lutea. But my last shows, I talked about the fact that there's a whole wide abundance of research that's come out talking about those of us with higher concentrations of lutein and zeaxanthin in our eyes also have higher concentrations of lutein and zeaxanthin in our brains, because the brain and eye have a relationship. The eye is really, it's a sensory organ, but it's really just a sensory organ that developed out of the brain. It's a direct relationship, a direct result of the development of our brain as an independent sensory organ, which is of course directly connected to our brain by the optic nerve. But just as lutein and zeaxanthin are highly concentrated in our eyes, they are incredibly highly concentrated in our brain. The second highest concentrations of lutein and zeaxanthin in our body is found in our brain, second to our eyes. And what's fascinating about this research is when you look at the aging brain and you look at those of us who retain better faculties as we age, it tends to be those of us who have higher concentrations of lutein and zeaxanthin in our bodies and in our brains. So that was sort of a whole new wrinkle on the research. And it's something that I always contemplated as being the case. It's wonderful to see it validated in the science. And now that it's validated in the science, it's something that I talk about. But there's a third area where lutein and zeaxanthin are highly concentrated, and it kind of makes common sense. Because lutein and zeaxanthin, beyond there being optical pigments that are actually part of the optical visual system in our eyes, they're these optical filters that protect our eyes, that filter out high energy radiation, blue light and ultraviolet radiation. And that blue light and ultraviolet radiation that could potentially damage the tissues of our eyes, lutein and zeaxanthin absorbs it, playing its protective role. What other part of our body is exposed to UV radiation? and I'm sure anybody listening to this is thinking, our skin. Our skin's exposed to UV radiation. So it wouldn't surprise you at all to find out that lutein and zeaxanthin are also highly concentrated in the tissue of our skin. Much more concentrated, much more concentrated in the tissues of our eye, and right in the middle somewhere there in the tissues of our brain. But lutein and zeaxanthin are highly concentrated in the tissues of our skin because, again, it's a wonderfully evolved system. It's a wonderfully designed system that our body has. And since our skin, we used to not run around with a lot of clothing, since our skin basically plays a barrier property. It's protecting us from outside influences. It's trying to keep all the moisture in that would otherwise evaporate away, which is what I spoke about when I spoke about ceramides in a tape I recorded briefly ago, just a few moments ago. And I'll talk about it in the middle of June when we talk about the today's special we're doing on ceramides. But the skin's principal role is this barrier property. Keeps moisture in, keeps the things in that we want to keep in, and it keeps out the things we don't want to damage our body or that's potentially adverse to our body. Ultraviolet radiation being one of those things. Our skin tans in response to sunlight. The reason why, as our skin tans, it darkens the skin tone, protecting our skin from ultraviolet radiation. So what is another way our skin protects itself from ultraviolet radiation other than these melanocytes in our skin producing melanin, which is normal pigment? What does our skin also do? It concentrates carotenoids, two of those carotenoids being lutein and zeaxanthin. And lutein and zeaxanthin, wherever they are, can absorb ultraviolet radiation. It's just the nature, the biochemical nature. Lutein and zeaxanthin, they have no choice. They were built that way. They have no choice, but they absorb ultraviolet radiation. That's the nature of those molecules. So lutein and zeaxanthin, when they're in your skin, can play a protective role, absorbing ultraviolet radiation. So it's one of those things that most of the research has said, that not most, the research I've read, those of us who eat diets containing protective compounds, higher in vitamin C or vitamin E, antioxidants, it tends to play a protective role when it comes to sun exposure. The most important thing we can do is be really sensible about being out in the sun. I run in the mountains all summer. That's what I do. And in the mountains, you're at altitude, you're exposed to UV. So I tend to only run in long sleeve shirts now. I wear a cap and I use zinc oxide sunscreen. As far as I'm concerned, the only protective compound for skin protection for sunscreen to use is zinc oxide. Secondarily, titanium dioxide, but I view the chemical sunscreens as toxic, dangerous, and for any number of reasons, not highly protective. But that's another discussion. I used to actually make a sunscreen, and due to popular request, I think we'll be introducing a sunscreen again sometime next year. Again, entirely zinc oxide with simple, healthy ingredients and not a long laundry list of chemicals that you don't want and nasty preservatives and things like that. But that's probably a year away. But again, sun is one of the most damaging. If we need it, it's essential. It's what provides for life on our planet, but what giveth also taketh away. So the sun can damage our skin, and our skin has all sorts of internal systems designed to protect itself. One of those is producing melanin from melanocytes. The other is concentrating lutein and zeaxanthin if we deliver it to our skin. And unfortunately, we don't deliver it from our body. We don't eat enough green leafy vegetables. So when you're protecting your eyes, when you're protecting our brain with our ultimate eye, you also provide lutein and zeaxanthin, which can also be concentrated in our skin and allows our skin to do its own natural protection as well. So it's incredible pricing, not quite as good as our today's special pricing in April, but it's the best pricing you'll see until our today's special, which will be in about 11 months in April again. So enjoy. When you're getting the benefits for your skin, you're getting truly incredible benefits for your eyes and quality of vision, long-term health of vision, and also for your brain. So it's really 3 benefits or more all in one. Enjoy.